Welcome in to Charge. Today, we're going to be talking about the Vaporflies, debatably the most controversial shoe in the running world. At the end of January, the governing body for track and field and road running will make the decision around the potential ban of the technology of the Vaporfly. Will elites be able to wear this when they race, etc., etc.? You will find out more in a sec. So what exactly is the controversy, you ask? Today, Coach Larry is going to walk us through what the heck the Vaporfly is and what to expect at the end of January. What is going to come?
Can you hear me?
Yeah!
You can hear me!
Yay! Welcome in, Larry. Thanks so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to learn more about the Vaporflies. I know you wrote a blog about them, but I have a ton of more questions for you. So hopefully you can answer those today and get everyone educated.
They're so vague right now. Don't know what's going to happen, really.
I feel like they're sitting in a boardroom and they're like, all right, we told the people that we need to come to a ruling on something. So let's decide what that is.
We will see. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. It's going to be a hard call either way because, like you said, you can't make everybody happy with this.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So I guess we'll dive right in. So this is Coach Larry, everybody. If you haven't done a run with him, what time are your runs during the week?
Usually Wednesday mornings, Wednesday nights, Friday mornings, Friday evenings. Usually just do those 2 days.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you have a lot of runs during those days. Check him out if you haven't done a run with him. And if you haven't, that'd be crazy because he's been with Charge for a long time now.
Yeah, definitely, guys, join in. It'll be awesome. But yeah, I'm so glad that we're doing this. I've been talking people's ear off about the Vaporfly. They're probably so tired of me just talking about it constantly, especially at work. They're like, I don't care. But like all I keep talking about.
You guys don't sell them at your work, right? At Fleet Feet? You don't sell them at... You do?
Yeah. We got a certain amount, and then they already sold out. And then, like, Nike hasn't given us more yet. So we still have them online, but not selling them in store.
You think they'd want to restock you guys as soon as possible?
You would think, and I guess that kind of gets to something we'll talk about later. I think the ruling, they won't be able to dictate what Nike sells, but only what, I guess, the elites use.
Oh, that makes sense for racing.
They can still produce them for, like, the average Joe, like me and you, but not, like, Olympic athletes, if that's what they decide.
Which is still pretty crazy because you win races. Like, you can win a half marathon single-handedly.
I guess, but not getting paid to do it, so I guess that's where the line is, or I don't have sponsorships. Who knows? It's going to be so confusing. That's why it's so hard, because there's not just like a clear-cut way to do it.
For sure. So I guess if people are wondering what the heck we're talking about, we'll give a little history of the Vaporflies. And what are the Vaporflies? They're a shoe. I'll insert a picture right here, so it makes sense why I'm holding my hands out like that. So yeah, let's hop into the history. So Larry, why don't you tell us a little bit about when did Nike create these? When did athletes first start wearing these shoes in races? How were there noticeable differences in race times? Just a little background.
Yeah, for sure. I think the idea, from what I heard, I wasn't at the Nike meeting. I think the idea first came out around 2013. They had the thought of, eventually going under 2 hours in the marathon. And they know they needed to, like, speed along technology to get a human to do that. So I think that's where the Vaporfly first originated, that idea. But I don't think it was being worn until 2016. But even at that point, they didn't have a name for it. It was just some random shoe people were wearing at the Olympic trials. 3 people wore it at the U.S. Marathon trials. It was Galen Rupp, Shalane Flanagan, and Amy Craig. And then after that, Elliott Kipchoge, he wore it like in the first Breaking 2 attempt where he went 2 hours and 25 seconds. So he was 26 seconds away. But then race results just started like doing really well. These like mature marathoners that like have had several marathons, they started like hitting personal best by several minutes. And then probably around 2018, people started scratching their head thinking this may not just be a marketing stunt. Nike may have been onto something. So it was first the 4% that came out in 2018. And then the next percent now came out in 2019. And we might have something past that this year. Who knows?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. What's the difference between the 4% and the next percent? technology-wise?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's very small differences. The upper is a little bit different. They use like this vapor weave to make it a little bit lighter for the next percent. The 4%, it's called the 4% because it's shown to improve your running economy by 4% on average. And then the next percent was shown to increase it a little bit closer to 5, but not quite 5. So that's why they said next percent instead of just calling it 5%. A little bit more cushion in the next percent. They increased it by 15%.
Oh, wow.
And then, but still they kept the weight very, very light. I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy topic, crazy shoe. But yeah, those are the two main differences.
I just want to go on a practice run with them. I've never ran in them before, so they're very intriguing to me.
Yeah, it feels... You're running on a trampoline with like a layer of jello. So it's like super soft, but super responsive. It's hard to imagine. Go put some jello on a trampoline and you can kind of figure it out.
I'm really thinking about this right now. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Don't do it. When you say 4% increases your running economy by 4% on average, can you kind of explain what that means for the beginner runner versus more of an elite runner?
Yeah. Essentially what your running economy is, it's just how much fuel it takes to run at a given pace, how much oxygen it costs your body to run at a certain speed. So people originally thought like the Vaporfly 4% meant that it would make you 4% faster, but it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, running economy to like speed or how fast you're running. Some biomechanists kind of found out that it's about a 2.6% improvement in race time. What a 4% running economy translates to, 2.6%. So for like top elite marathoners, that comes out to right around 3 minutes, which is huge. When you're running like already 2:05. I like did some math here. For like a 4-hour marathoner, it saves them like 6 minutes and 14 seconds on average.
Which is insane.
Yeah, just from changing shoes. What's interesting, most people don't know, is like it's compared to Nike's next best racing flat. So most people that are like recreational runners, they're just running in like a normal trainer. So they'd probably get 10% on average if they move to this racing flat. So
that is
huge difference.
I didn't even think about what shoe they were comparing it to. They're comparing it to their next best shoe,
exactly.
Not compared to the average runner who's wearing,
Exactly. Some random heavier trainer.
That might not even be a running shoe.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know. You feel like you could float away when you put that shoe on compared to a normal shoe.
That's insane. Oh, well, this is probably exciting a lot of people thinking that they need to get this shoe. But wait and see, even though it might not be banned for every runner.
The price may go up, so still might be a good time to get them. They're right now like $250. But they should still be making them, I'm sure. But they just may not be able to use them.
I want to run a few minutes faster in my marathon. That'd be great.
Yeah, they're just fun. Like, it's fun to run fast and, do it with less effort. So.
And I'm sure the shoes kind of give you the confidence, knowing all this information.
Yeah. There's definitely a placebo in it, too. And I think at first that's what everybody thought it was. Like you tell somebody like, oh, this will make you faster. If you believe it, it actually will make you faster. But I don't know. This is not just all in the mind. That helps. But there's research, there's studies that prove it, which is, I don't know, really cool. There's been no non-responders to the shoe. So like every follow-up test like has shown that it like helps improve your running economy.
That's crazy.
I could talk all day. Like I said.
No, I love this. I love this.
Love it. I love it more. I love it.
So let's go into the current drama around the Vaporfly. So what is the thing that everyone is debating right now, and why are people freaking out about the shoe?
Yeah. So the current rule for, like I said, elite runners is that no shoe can provide an unfair advantage, and it has to be reasonably available to everybody. Mm-hmm. So what happened in 2016 was those 3 runners that I mentioned, they had a shoe, it was a prototype at that point, that wasn't available to everybody else. And now we know like how much of an advantage this shoe gives people. It definitely cost some people, like some Olympic teams. Shalane Flanagan, she finished 3rd. The top 3 go on to the Olympics. She was, I think, 65 seconds away from 4th place. So if that Kara Goucher, who got 4th, if she would have had the shoes,
she could have passed Shalane potentially.
Exactly. Most likely, from what research says about the shoe, and then even just times in general, but that shoe wasn't available to everybody. It was only available to those 3 people at that point. So that clearly violates one of the rules. You know, it doesn't affect like you and I, people that can just go get it off the shelf. But also if you're like an Adidas sponsored athlete and you don't have this like shoe technology, you're basically just giving your competitor wearing that shoe a big head start.
Yeah, that it just kind of pains me to think of that. Also, I feel like Kara Goucher has gone through a lot with cheating scandals, and now just knowing that there's that technology that could have got her there, but so much to think about on that one. So, I mean, that's really interesting. Let's go to the shoes. You're the shoe fit expert, you know all about the shoes. I know you mentioned that the foam inside the shoe, the carbon fiber plate, and the stack height are the 3 things that are a little bit different about this shoe. Can you explain a little bit more about why these are important?
Yeah, so the foam in most running shoes, it's called EVA foam. When you're running, you lose a certain amount of energy like inside the shoe. So like if a shoe is super, super soft, you know, if you were to like run in sand is really soft, for example, it's going to be very hard to run in sand. So same thing with the shoe. You're losing some of that energy you put into the shoe each step. So EVA foam in traditional shoes, everyday running shoes, it returns about 65% of your energy. Then in around 2010, Adidas, they came out with their Boost material. It was like the big craze. That's like it's called TPU foam, thermoplastic units. It's like bonded together. It returns like mid 70s, like 76% of your energy, which is 10 more than the EVA. But then this Pebax foam, it's called, or Zoom X foam that's in the Vaporfly, it returns like upper 80s, like 88% of your energy. Yeah, so it's very, very responsive. That's kind of like I was saying, it's kind of like a trampoline. So you don't lose as much of your energy each step. And then they also infuse it with nitrogen. So it makes it lighter weight. So they're able to just package more of this foam into like a, bigger area without adding mass to it.
Yeah.
So it's super lightweight. That makes the stack height bigger in the shoe and makes it more cushioned. And with the bigger stack height, they're able to put in that carbon fiber plate. What's cool is Nike, they're not the first one to like put a carbon fiber plate inside a shoe. It started early 2000s. People were doing it. And their thought was if you weren't bending your big toe, you were going to be saving energy that way. But shoe companies, where you gained energy at the big toe, you lost in your ankle because it made your ankle joint start working more.
I can see that.
Yeah. And Nike, since they had this big stack height, they were able to like curve the carbon fiber plate. So you saved the energy at your big toe joint, but also saved it at your ankle because of the curvature of it. So everything inside the shoe, like the foam, the carbon fiber plate, the stack height, like it all like works together. It's not really so much like one does more of a job. They all just synchronize and like make up this perfect shoe. Really.
That's so interesting. And it's crazy because Nike has so much money. They obviously have the money for research and development to come up with this technology that other companies, I'm assuming, haven't been able to develop and perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Nike, they definitely have a big pool money they can use. They had to have just done like so many different combinations of curvature in the plate to find like the exact curve that saves the most amount of energy. Everything like that. Probably so many small details have gone into the research.
100%.
It's super cool.
Okay, so because of everything you just said, do you want to give a little bit of the history of records that have been made with the Vaporfly and how those may be controversial moving forward?
Definitely. So shoe technology really hasn't changed a whole lot, in the past 40 years. So there hasn't been anything like this in the track or running world that like some piece of technology made a huge difference, huge advancement. So before the Vaporfly came out in 2014, the world record was 2:02:57 for men by Dennis Cometto in the full marathon, 2 hours, 2 minutes, 57 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And now, since the Vaporfly has been out a few years, like his time from 2014, it's not even in the top 5 in history because like all those times have been run with somebody wearing a Vaporfly now.
Wow.
Or a prototype of the Vaporfly. So, with what I was saying, like how for top marathoners, it improves their time by 3 minutes. If we take 2:02:57 and take 3 minutes off there, that gets us sub 2, which is what Elliott Kipchoge kind of did in that sub 2 performance in October.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really have superhumans now. I think we just accelerated the pace that they're running from the shoe.
Because of the shoe.
Yeah.
So when was the 2:02:57? When was that record made?
That was 2014.
2014. And
Yep.
aren't there improvements in marathon times typically every 3 years or so?
Yeah, it's not uncommon for a marathon to every couple years take off like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But what is pretty uncommon is Elliott Kipchoge. He dropped from 2:02:57 down to 2:01:39, and he did that in just 4 years, and that was like just a huge jump. And then also the women's world record, which people were kind of waiting on, like if the Vaporfly like does all this, how come nobody's broken the women's world record yet? Paula Radcliffe, she set it in 2003, I think, early 2000s, and she ran 2:15:25. I had to write it down, and nobody came within like 2.5 minutes of that since 2003.
Yeah.
And then just this year, Bridget Koski, she broke it by like 84 seconds. She ran 2:14:04.
That was crazy.
So yeah, Radcliffe's record was already like such an outlier. Nobody would touch it. And then it got destroyed just last October.
I've always kind of wondered how someone beat it by that much. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? Maybe they just had the stars aligned. It was their day. They had trained, but it just was such a big, PR. It's such a big, record breaker.
Everything definitely had to go well on the day, but you always got to wonder, like, man, if Paula Radcliffe would have had that in 2003, what would she have run? It's hard to say, but very impressive performances. It was just crazy that they were one day apart. When Elliott Kipchoge ran 1:59:40, then it was the next morning she ran the 2:14:04, and it was
Chicago,
like,
right?
okay, yeah, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. Way behind her, but I heard about it.
I don't know. So like after that, especially those two just being a day apart, everybody was like, all right, like something is up here. And everybody knew that even before that point.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, they were really close together, and I'm sure that got a lot of people thinking a little bit too, on top of the history of the shoe moving and all that kind of stuff. So the athletic board at the end of the month, the governing body of track and field
and road racing
are coming to a conclusion of a ruling that we don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's as specific as I can be right now.
They may be vague about what they give to, but I think they have to do something. I personally don't think they're going to completely ban the shoe. I think they need to regulate it because how the shoe was introduced in 2016, I think, was completely inappropriate. Nobody else had that shoe available to them. I kind of want like these new super shoes that just like make you faster. I want it to become the new norm, so that just become the baseline, because other companies are starting to come out with shoes too that are competing with the Vaporfly, Saucony, Brooks, Asics. There's no like research on them yet, but I'm sure there will be in the next few months.
Yeah,
I think there needs to be some regulation. So as you've seen, like the shoes are just getting so thick. So a lot of the talk is they're going to regulate the stack height. So it has to be at like 31 millimeters or 35 millimeters. Personally, I imagine they're going to keep everything the same that they have out right now. So the Vaporfly will be legal. The Next Percent will be legal.
How about like Hoka's? Don't they have a huge stack height?
They do, yeah. I think it's very similar to the Vaporfly, within millimeters of the Vaporfly. So stuff like that, like that's the curveball you kind of get thrown, I guess. But yeah, so I don't think they're going to allow any more advancements. I think like, I don't know, we did it, not we, but like Nike, they did it. We have like some super shoes that just increase performance. I don't think we need to go beyond that. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to like put the stopping point right here, not allow it to advance anymore, what is kind of frustrating is like Nike has a patent on their shoes. So other shoe companies have to do it in a different way.
Yeah.
So if they can reach like the same result in a different way, then it's like fair game. But if they can't, then I think they should be banned. I'm no expert with like patent law, but something's got to be done. I think Nike should release their patent. There's this new patent kind of floating around that I saw just a couple days ago. Nike, and this is why I partially think that they're not going to completely ban the shoes. I think they're just going to set a regulation on the stack height. There's this new patent that apparently Nike made some device that like clips on to like your heel of a shoe, mm-hmm. or it's already built into a shoe. It was pretty vague. and it can like change the height of like the cushioning in the shoe. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. But that could potentially, like, if you just did that and decrease the stack height, a shoe would then be legal. I don't think they can ban carbon fiber plates because you can't have like an MRI machine at the starting line of every race.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing to do is just get a ruler and like measure it and see. Yeah, I don't know. Nike has so much
Seems
like
a lot.
pool like in the market, and they own so much of the shares that I think they partially do have a say in like what happens. So I think that they came out with this technology to just be ready for like a regulation in the stack height.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm sure they were thinking of what the rule could be, or what the ruling could be, trying to combat that and come up with the next shoe or next model. Totally makes sense. So based on everything that we've discussed, it sounds like you don't think that this technology should be illegal or banned from elite racing. You think that it should be the new standard. Is that correct?
That's my take on it. A lot of everybody disagrees. A lot of sports scientists that like I follow, I like look up to them, and they say they think it should like 100% be banned. And I'm like, oh, this is where I kind of like diverge from their thoughts a little. And I'm like, I'm all for innovation as long as it's fair. And if every other shoe company can make a shoe that's just as good, and this becomes the new baseline, then I think it's fair. But Nike's just gotta, I feel like, release their patent. Other shoe companies have to find a way to do it. The other thing is, since like these shoes came out, it's just like completely, like we talked about, rewritten records, world records, everything. So I'm not biased, but like if I was like the old world record holder and I didn't have this technology available, I'd be like, oh, I think they should be banned. But since I'm not in that situation, I guess it's different.
Well, you never know what you would think. I mean, you could, even if you did have a record, you could see technology changing and, be excited for that in the future. And maybe that record would have like a notation, no Vaporflies used. A little asterisk,
Yeah. I don't know, like we're always making advancements. So even just from like cinder tracks to rubber tracks, like that was a huge performance enhancer. You get like so much more responsiveness from each step. So why should we limit shoe technology or not allow it to advance? Like I said, once again, as long as it's available to everybody.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, but if it does become, and it already kind of is, especially in like the road running scene, recreational running scene, it has become like the new baseline. So I think Boston qualifying times, like all these times are just going to get faster, just to accommodate and adjust for the disturbance that the shoe has caused.
It's going to be crazy to see how fast times get in the upcoming years.
Yeah.
And just what humans are capable of with better technology.
And one last thing I just thought of too, like, I forgot.
No, Larry, no!
I had it. Hold on. Gosh darn it. I was like, man, this is gold.
Oh, no!
I remember. That made me remember. I'm not going to forget now.
Do it.
Okay. One last thing that I was thinking about. The people, talk about it being banned, but I think if it was banned, we wouldn't have gotten all this, like, positive global attention to our sport, which is one thing we're lacking.
That's true.
I do believe that like Elliott Kipchoge, he wouldn't have been able to break 2 hours in the marathon, but without the shoe, which that's another topic, another debate. He had a shoe that's not even released yet. Does anybody else? Yeah, without that technology, he wouldn't have been able to do it. And like everybody that follows sports, has a TV, gets a newspaper, they saw like headlines like, man broke 2 hours in the marathon, and I'm sure that sparked some people's curiosity or made them at least go out and give running a try.
Totally.
So I don't know. That's another just argument I have. Like, I think it's a good thing for the sport.
100%. So many of my friends who are not into running at all came to me and said, "Did you see the guy who broke 2 hours?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you know about that?"
Yeah. See, like everybody knows. And it's like, how is that attention a bad thing? It pulls it away from some of the negative things of like professional road racing, like doping and everything. And I don't know. It just, like I said, could spark somebody's curiosity to give it a try.
Aw, I love that positive spin, Larry.
Yeah,
Let's get more people to our sport. Also, I love the sweater. It looks like you got the runner's head cut off.
Oh.
Oh, wait, not anymore. There's the heads.
By the microphone, the random black blob.
Yeah, that is a microphone, by the way, if you're wondering. It's not, I don't know what else it really looks like. A black hole.
It's just sitting on my shoulder.
That's an OG Charge sweatshirt, by the way.
I know, this is like the most comfortable thing. I wear it all the time.
I know, it really is. Oh, my other one has a hole in the armpit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe probably from doing these videos, I'm like, what's up, everybody? And it's like...
Just rips it. Gosh, never mind. I'll say, I lost my orange shirt. I don't know what the heck happened to it. I know.
I mean, afraid... I get it. I'm gonna have to post this. Like, people need to know that you lost this.
Ugh, I was like, I can't tell Rory. He's gonna kill me.
But thank you right now for your take on this. I totally appreciate it. Thanks for making me feel a little bit more educated on the topic and maybe everybody else watching. So appreciate your time, Larry.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Like I said, I could talk about this all day. I know I've been driving people crazy with it. So it was awesome being here, just chatting about the Vaporfly.
And if you want to learn more about the Vaporfly too, Larry has an on-demand run right now with Charge, talking more about the shoe and the technology in general. What run is that again?
It's a 35-minute walk to run.
Cool. Okay, so check that out if you want to learn more. We also have a blog up. Complements this, goes a little bit more into detail and talks about the athletes that have worn the shoe and a few bit more of the controversies. But yeah, Larry, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Bye, Larry.
See ya.
Thank you, Coach Larry. Totally appreciated that. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think this type of technology should be banned in racing, or should it be around? Should this be the new standard per Coach Larry? Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hitting the big red button below. Don't forget to follow our Facebook group, Charge Running Club. And until next time, charge on.